How are we? Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is currently 11:18 where I am, 11:18 a.m.
Remember the 90s? Your computer could suddenly correct spelling mistakes. That was life. Suddenly correct spelling mistakes.
Okay. I was just trying to see where I was at as far as like with this audio and stuff. I try to make sure I check it before time. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, so I just pull myself up on live. I'll pull the chat up so that way I can make sure that it's not saying reconnect, it's not frozen, and I can see what you guys are seeing too in the chat. So today's layer is going to be super simple. We're basically going to be adding a colorful layer onto the back of our tray here. So on the last step, what we did was we did this floral layer here. I can actually go ahead and pick it up now because it's cured. So if you guys can see here, like these are the flowers and stuff that we added in yesterday. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. There's no like gaps in here like where the crevices are. Now this part's not completely smooth just because, you know, obviously there's stuff in here. And it wasn't completely submerged, but that's fine. Let's see, got the butterfly right here. That's what I was touching on. That's like one of the white flowers right there, the yellow flower. And it just looks really good so far. I'm really liking it. I can't wait till the demolding so we can actually see like what this turns into and everything. But all right, so let me go ahead and I'm actually move it up here because it's easier to see. And I'm going to move that downward like that. All right. What I'll do first is, to save time, I'll go ahead and mix this resin up because I still haven't found that alcohol spray bottle. So I'm going to be letting this sit so some of the bubbles can come to the surface and pop naturally. All right, so this layer that I'm about to do now, this is going to be another 60 milliliter layer. So I'm going to go in with 30 milliliters of my hardener. And then I can come in with 30 milliliters of this resin. Okay. I got that perfectly. So once it's at the 60 milliliter line, you just kind of want to take your stir stick and go ahead and stir this up. I'm using one of my used cups that I used earlier for that blue part. Kind of regretting it a bit, but I used it just because I was trying to not use a new one. Trying to save some product. And since I scrape up the cups the way I do, it's harder to clean out because it just leaves like little bulbs of resin here and there, like those little micro pieces everywhere. Those are hard to get out, so I usually don't reuse my cups too often, to be completely honest. But I also don't work with resin nearly as much as I once did, so I don't have quite as much need to either. And also kind of check how this makeup looks on film. I have, this is the new one that I got from the drugstore. Oh, wait, I never posted that video. Anyway, I got a new makeup from the drugstore, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about the flashback. I look ashy to y'all? Or is it just me? I feel like I look a tad bit ashy. Now I'm going to plug this heat gun up and warm this resin while I start it. Alright, I'm trying to make sure I get this nice and thin because like I said, there's a lot of bubbles forming up in here because the cup on the inside is not completely smooth, so it's forming a lot of bubbles and air pockets. But okay, so now that this is pretty much mixed, I'm gonna put that up there and I'll be right back. I do need to grab some alcohol ink. Alright, I want to grab an orangish colored alcohol ink because I have an idea for the color that I'm going with for this. Okay, trying to see where this needs to be to keep it in frame. But that looks pretty good right there. I could actually bring it down a tad bit more. Okay. Alright, so I do want the base to glow in the dark too, so I'm definitely going to use some of this orange glow powder that I have here. But I also want to mix it with the mica powder. I'm trying to find a specific one, so let's see if I can. It's one that's called Dusk, and I love it so much just because it does actually look like dusk, and that's kind of what I'm going for in this background. Okay, here we go. And see this dusk color? It's like this rose goldish orange color that I like what you expect dusk to look like. All right. Let me pop these back in here. Okay, I'm gonna move this out my way. Just put that up here. Now we're going to go ahead and mix the color into this resin. So this is the dusk color that I was talking about. Go ahead and open it on up. And of this, I'm just going to be adding in a spoon. Boop. Alright, so after I add that in, I'm going to stir this on up right quick. Luckily, with the colored pigments and stuff, the micro bubbles don't matter quite as much. Just because when you're using the mica powder and you're using as much colorant as I'm going to be using, you're not going to be able to see through to this color. So if there's a bubble in there, it's just in there and nobody even knows. We just want to make sure that no bubbles get trapped along the edges into these crevices or anything like that. So that way when we demold it, it doesn't create any sharper jagged pieces. And I'm gonna show you guys like when we do get to the demolding of this piece. I'm not sure when we're going to actually demold this piece. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do it tonight or if we're gonna have to wait till tomorrow afternoon or something like that. We'll see. Okay, so now I'm just adding in this orange glow powder here. Okay, I want to get all of that added in there because like I said, I want this to glow. I don't want no little baby glow. I want a full on night light glow. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mix that on into our concoction. This is what it's starting to look like. Okay. And as you guys can hear, it's still the scraping at the bottom. You can hear like the grains from the glow in the dark pigment because those seem to be heavier, so it sinks to the bottom faster. Now, what we're going to do next is take this orange, or really it's tangerine, but any orange color will do. And you're going to just 1, 2, about 3 drops of that. I'm going to stir that on in there too, because we want to give this some orange notes. I really want the orange to shine through in this pinkish color. Hey there. All right. This is what we have here. All right. So from here, you're just going to go ahead and start pouring your resin right into the mold. Now I'm going to start by pouring about half in there. And then I'm going to take my popsicle stick to go around the edges, like I'm always telling y'all to do. And make sure no bubbles collect in those edges. Okay. Now that I've made sure I touched every last edge, I'm gonna go ahead and pour the rest of this resin on in here. This should pretty much fill it up. If it doesn't go all the way to the top, that's completely fine. I guarantee you this will be thick enough to do what needs to be done. And look at this color. Like, isn't it so beautiful? I love this color. In fact, I love mixing up my own colors and everything and making them really hard to recreate. Gotta play with color theory, guys. Gots to. Okay. All right. So that is going to be the end of that particular layer. And we're just going to allow this to cure between 12 and 24 hours. I think this might end up needing the full 24 though, guys. I'm not gonna lie. But we'll see. I'll be keeping an eye on it, and I will I think I'm going to just run a poll today and see who wants to see the demolding in the afternoon and who wants to see it in the evening, because those are pretty much going to be our options. And who knows, when I take it out, I may want to continue on and do something else too. So I guess we'll see, huh? All right, so I was basically just kind of swirling this a bit to make it look a little bit more interesting, but I think it's just going to pull back towards the middle. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for joining me again, hippies. I'm going to let you all know when I decide to come back and everything and finish up with this. So look out for a community post. And again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm gonna go ahead and get these gloves off so I could turn this camera on. Maybe I should start doing that first before I say my closing remarks. That would be smart, right? All right, hippies. Ta-ta now.